My name is Lennys. I come to you from Stockholm, Sweden, from Novius Eye Clinic. We've been using the Valeda light system or the photobiomodulation for the last year. We currently are treating 104 patients, where 60% of them have a visual acuity improvement. None of the patients have any visual loss so far. All right, so this is the machine. As you see it here, it's very simple. It has two buttons and a joystick in the middle. So the company, they made it for children. Anybody can use it. It's very simple. The way we select our patients, it's the most important thing of all is to have a patient that has above 0.5 visual acuity. Of course, we treat patients below that, but above that level is better for the treatment. If you have a patient, for example, with visual acuity of 0.9 or 1.0 with the drusen, these are fantastic patients to start with. The problem with these patients, though, is that it's hard to convince them because these patients don't have any symptoms. We can see the clinical picture is incorrect, as it should be. But the patient has zero symptoms. So you have to find a way to convince them to do this treatment. You have to give them thorough information. This treatment is not a cure and has no guarantees for visual acuity improvement, even though through my patients, it's 60% of them have a visual acuity improvement from 1 to 3 lines. But you cannot guarantee your patient these. The expectations that the patient should have during your session is that this treatment is to slow down the degenerative process. So their disease will become gradually worse, but the treatment will slow it down gradually. We treat the patients twice per year. Yanni said maybe 3 times per year. But the Lumithera company or the Americans, they suggest every 3 to 4 months to treat the patients, but that depends also on your patient's pockets. So it's not always that easy. But twice per year for us has worked fantastically. And every treatment session is 9 treatments, so 3 times per week for 3 weeks. And we have a follow-up session after a month, which is for free, and we do this 2 times per year. All right, and here comes the fun part. We have some results here. This is the first patient, 71-year-old patient that saw clearer during the treatment. She came to me and said, Alex, after 2-3 treatments, I can see myself clearer in the mirror. I can see and read clearer the tickets, the stuff on the counter. And as you can see here, you have some drusen to start with, but after the full treatment, a lot of them were absorbed. And this patient had a 2-line improvement in the right eye, and the left eye had a 1-line improvement. You can also see the drusen here. Some of them are absorbed. You should know that your clinical picture when it comes to these patients is not always going to be better after a treatment, all right? But a lot of the patients will have a visual acuity improvement. So this patient, I chose this patient because you can see the vitelliform change in the center. It has no significant difference from before to after the treatment, but the patient had a 1.5 line improvement with her right eye. She was very satisfied with this. And here is the left eye. Same thing here. No improvement in the clinical picture. Actually, there's some worsening probably, but even though the patient had a improvement with 1 line in her left eye. This patient right here is very interesting because I was treating this patient for 3 to 4 months with Nevanak, and it didn't help her at all. So I gave her the choice to actually try the treatment. with zero guarantees, of course. She said, okay, let's try it, we'll see how it goes. You can see this is before the treatment. So the patient comes to me after the second treatment, not after half a year, the second treatment, first, second, and tells me, I can actually see better. I didn't trust her, of course, because it sounded weird. I've never tried this on any other patient, so this is how it looked like. 62-year-old patient, after 2 treatments.
That was CSR, was this?
Yeah,
CSR.
2 treatments. And the visual acuity, went from 0.6 to 0.9 after 5 treatments, and has remained like this since then. So this is a one-off. I've done maybe a couple of patients like this. I don't know if I can recommend this to you as a starting treatment for your patients, but if you try everything else and nothing else works, you can try this. Here you have a drusen retinopathy. There's not a lot of degenerative process going on here. There's a little bit, as I told you, these patients are the best to start with because it's easier to start with a patient like this. There's no degenerative process, and they can actually see an improvement after the treatment. There's a little bit of the lines, as you can see here, are absorbed, and they look more straight. This is a one eye treatment, correct? And here we have another patient, a little bit of epiretinal membrane here, but a lot of degenerative process going on. This person, after 7 treatments, she saw herself clear in the mirror, and a 1-line improvement after full treatment, which I didn't expect, that she would have a 1-line improvement, because the thing that I tell my patients always when it comes to this is that you should never expect a visual acuity improvement. You have to manage your patients' expectations, because if you tell them they're going to have a visual acuity improvement and they do not, they're not going to be happy. And the treatment costs a lot of money for them to have an expectation of something to be stopped, but you can't guarantee anything. And here's my last patient. This is actually a friend of mine. He came to me, he's very stressed with his work and everything. So he came to me, Alex, I have an issue with my left eye. Can we do anything about it? And I go in, I take a picture, and I see this clinical picture right here. I try him out with Nevanak also for a couple of months. Nothing works. I tried the Diamox for a week, 250 milligrams twice per day. Nothing works. I asked him, let's try the treatment. Again, I can't guarantee you anything, so we'll see how it works. And this is from the first treatment. That's the second treatment. And right here, we have the 6th and the 9th treatment. He went from 0.6 to 0.9. So these are the cases that I have for you right now. As I told you, we have 104 patients currently that we're treating in Sweden. Of course, Sweden and Scandinavia is a much bigger market than Greece. We have about 300,000 to 400,000 people with AMD in Sweden. So we have a big market. But the takeaway message from this is that this works. And none of my patients have had a visual acuity loss in a year, and 60% of my patients have a visual acuity improvement, as shows from Lumithera's treatments also. So yeah, I highly recommend this. Thank you very much. I wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.